Hey guys, Spudknocker here, as always, and welcome back to DCS World and the JF-17 Thunder from Deca Ironworks Simulations. Now, as I'm sure you've all realized by now, as you're flying your new JF-17, it's a pretty interesting and quirky little jet, and those quirks certainly extend to communicating on the radio and making sure you're communicating to the right party at the right time. There are some quirks, and I figured we would go through the radio procedures here in the JF-17 to help you guys out a little bit. So, enjoy the video, and fly safe. Alrighty guys, welcome back to the office of the JF-17 Thunder, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the radios. Now, the radios certainly vexed me when I first hopped into the jet, and they do not work anything like what you're used to in, say, the FA-18C or the AV-8B or the F-16. They work in a completely different way, so let's go ahead and go over them today. So first thing you'll notice is we are flying at 12 noon with the sun right over our head. One of my cardinal rules for DCS World is never fly at 12 noon, but we'll go ahead and use 12 noon here to add a little bit of light to our radio panel down here. It's a little tiny panel, and I think some extra light could help you guys see it a little bit better for the purposes of this tutorial. So first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and shed a little bit of extra light on things, turn on our console and instrumentation lights. And first thing you need to know about radios in the JF-17 is you cannot put in your own discrete frequency in a manual mode like you can in, say, the Harrier, the Hornet, or the Viper. Second thing you need to know is you cannot change those preset frequencies within the mission editor if you're making your own little practice mission or your own little mission for the JF-17. And that can be a little bit frustrating. I'm not sure why Deca Ironworks Simulations did that, but I hope that they change that in the future so that we can edit the preset frequencies within the mission editor. It would make mission making quite a bit easier. But we need to know how to make it work in the meantime, so let's go ahead and get started with that. First thing you'll note is when you open up the kneeboard page and you scroll over to the preset channel frequencies, you'll see that the JF-17 Thunder has 200 different preset frequencies, and those count up in increments of halves. So it goes from 108.000 all the way up to 432.75. And so you can scroll through this and see if you can find the correct frequency you want on the correct preset channel. But if you need to type in a frequency that is not on here, there is a way to edit those frequencies. So first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll contact our AWACS, and that is actually on one of these preset frequencies, so that way we can show you guys how to do that as well. So first thing we need to know is we got to find that frequency. We know that our AWACS is currently working on 305.00. So we'll go ahead and scroll on down to 305.00, and we can see that is on preset channel 181. So why don't we go ahead and pop that into Comm 2 for us, and we'll go ahead and pop in 181, and then we'll hit this arrow again to enter. We'll hit return to come out to the original page for the UFCP. And now we can see we got preset channel 181 for Comm 2. So let's go ahead and contact the AWACS and see what's up around us.
Darkstar, Enfield 2-1, request picture. Enfield 2-1, Darkstar, 2 groups. First group at Bulls 315-480 at 12,000. Additional group at Bulls 352-470 at 20,000.
Alright, cool. So there are a couple groups of bandits around us, but we won't worry about them. They're not going to engage us at this moment since we're flying all the way over Dubai. So next, why don't we go ahead and put in the frequency to contact Al Minhad Tower. Now, Al Minhad Tower works on frequency 250.100, and that is not listed on our preset channel frequencies, so we'll have to use our radio panel in order to edit one of those preset frequencies with 250.100 in order to create a preset frequency for that. So why don't we go ahead and flick off the autopilot, and we'll put her into a little bit of a shallow bank here, and we'll put the autopilot back onto altitude hold mode. And that way we can shed a little bit more light on our radio panel down here. Now keep in mind, if you're using Track IR, and especially if you're using VR, that is not an easy panel to look at. It's definitely going to take some neck craning and cranking to get back there and see that panel. And it is kind of a bit of a tricky little operation and procedure here, but it can be done, and it is just one of those little quirks that has to do with the JF-17. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and first verify on the F10 map that I do have the correct frequency in mind. Yep, so Almin HOD 250.100. Cool. We don't want to do all this work and accidentally put in the wrong frequency, because then we'd have to just do it over again. So let's go ahead and come on down here to the radio panel. Now first we have to select which preset frequency we want to edit. So we'll go ahead and hit the radio handoff control right here. That hands off control from the preset frequencies from the UFCP down here to the radio panel. So we'll hit that right there, and we'll go ahead and hit C or 8 to clear it out. And why don't we go ahead and work and edit preset frequency 022. So 022, I don't know, you can do whatever you want for that. So we hit 022, we hit the enter button down here on the bottom right. And we'll try and zoom in a little bit more for you guys. Sorry, it's so hard to see. And so once we get C022 with a caret and then an F, we know that we are now working with 022 to edit that frequency that is associated with that preset. So now we can take this radio modes switch here, and we'll swap that all the way over into the set position here. And we can see that 022 is already set for 118.500, and that's what we want to edit. So we'll hit the clear. First we need to cycle the radio handoff button, then we'll hit the clear or 8 button to clear that out, and we will go ahead and set a frequency of 2 0. Oops, we'll go ahead and clear that out. We'll set a frequency of 250.100. And we'll hit enter here, and that should do it for us. So keep in mind that just like I made a little mistake there, you can always cycle this radio control handover button in order to clear out that mistake. Now, once we go ahead and look back onto our preset frequency channels page on our kneeboard, we can come down to the 022 preset, and then we can now see that is set for 250.100. Now, we can go ahead and pop that preset frequency into our UFCP up here. We also want to make sure that we go ahead and bring our radio back to transmit mode, and we can hit 022, enter, 022, enter, .022, enter, and we can now see that we have 022 up on our UFCP, and we can now talk to Almin HOD Tower on Comm 1. Alrighty, there we go. We're now talking to Almin HOD Tower, so we'll go ahead and abort that inbound.
2-1, abort inbound, resuming mission.
And keep in mind that you have to make sure that you have the radio handed back off to the UFCP there. I made a little bit of an error, and that's why it had a little bit of trouble there. So why don't we go ahead and change to another frequency, and so that way you guys can see it one more time. So let's go ahead and pick the tower that we were currently flying over. And that is Shiraj International. So that's on 250.2. So we'll go ahead and input 250.2, and let's change a different frequency this time. Let's go for 090 for the frequency. Preset frequency will change. So we'll go to transmit receive, we'll hit handoff, we'll clear it out, we'll hit 090, enter. And so now we know we've got 090 in here, and we're going to change that frequency. Now we'll go ahead and go over into the set mode. We will cycle the handoff switch. We will clear that out. 250.200, and enter. And that way we should be good there. We'll hit the handoff button again, and we'll cycle this back to transmit receive. Now when we go to the 090, we can see we've got 250.199. I'm not sure why it rounds down to 199, but it will still work for you, no problem. So we'll go ahead and input a frequency of 090, enter, and return, and we should be good to go there. And that is Shiraj International that we were flying over. So we'll go ahead and go to ATC, Shiraj International, and inbound. Alrighty, so there it is. We're talking to all Shiraj International. So while that is a bit convoluted, a bit complex, and a bit annoying, with some practice it can work. Make sure that if you are having trouble, that you try cycling the radio handoff button here. Make sure that you have the radio mode selector into the correct mode for editing those different preset frequencies. And if you have any trouble, just rewatch the video and hopefully you can get it. I did show off some common errors here that I made when I first started off, and just make sure that you cycle that radio handoff switch again. So, thanks a lot, guys. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And as always, we always love support on Patreon. It really helps keep the channel going. So, thanks a lot, guys, and fly safe.